Manga-Waido.
My name is Manato Sakai. I'm 16. I'm this skinny because my parents don't feed me. By parents, I don't mean this old fart. He's just my uncle. My real parents both died in a car accident when I was in elementary school. When I was at a facility, my uncle showed up and said he wanted to take me in. He looked just like my dad, especially his smile.
When my brother and his wife passed, I was only thinking about building up my company, so I couldn't think about you. I'm sorry about that. I want you to consider me as your father.
Okay.
I remember us playing when we were young, and he was super kind when he came to the facility, or when I went over to his house as a trial. I thought this was okay. But once he finished the paperwork to take me in, he completely changed his attitude. Apparently he took me on for money. I looked it up using the library computer, but he gets $1,000 or so a month for adopting me.
Don't ever forget that I took you in!
I haven't eaten yet.
If you want to eat something, just eat our leftovers!
During middle school, I was able to get by on school lunches, so I didn't starve. Everyone around me started to figure it out and shared their bread, and even gave me a little extra during lunch. It was pitiful, but I just had to deal with it. But once high school started, and schools didn't provide lunches, I was worried that I was going to starve. Uncle, please. I'll take care of the house. Give me some food.
Shut up! I said don't talk to me when I'm watching baseball!
You're so annoying talking about food all the time. If you want to eat that badly, eat that bread and banana on the table.
The bananas were brown and the bread was well past the expiration date. I felt so upset, but I had to eat food that was borderline trash. And when people would come by to check in on me, they gave me a large portion of food.
Here, eat it.
You'll be sure to tell the worker that you're eating food every day.
I once told a worker that I was hungry, and it was bad. After the worker left, I was yelled at for hours. Every time the worker showed up, I remembered that memory and wasn't able to say anything. I just put on a fake smile and had to deal with it.
He seems a little skinny. I think he's a lot skinnier than average. Is he eating?
Yeah, I love exercise and,
He just doesn't get fat, no matter how much he eats. His father was fairly skinny too. It must be genetic.
I couldn't tell the truth, and she just went home. The next visit was going to be in 2 months. My daily hell would start all over again. I have gym, and I think I'm going to collapse. Please feed me.
What are you talking about? I just fed you.
The leftovers aren't enough. Please.
Shut up! If you want more food, go work a part-time job!
But she said that if I have time for a part-time job, I should take care of the house.
Are you saying it's my fault? What a snuck-up snob.
Sounds to me like someone needs a lesson!
Sorry?
Shut up! You're not eating as punishment for a while. Also, you're going to clean the bathtub and clean the hallways. With cold water, of course.
No! Cleaning everything with cold water in the dead of winter. Why do I have to deal with this? I can't do this anymore. If I'm here any longer, I'm dead. In the middle of the night, after my uncle and his wife fell asleep, I left the house. I didn't have anywhere to go, but it was better than being here. I walked aimlessly. I was just starving and I didn't know where to go. But I just needed to get somewhere where my uncle couldn't find me. But I didn't have any energy, so I couldn't get far. The place I ended up was at some park at the riverbed. I collapsed onto the bench. It was night, but there were still people around the swings being loud. Oh, some of my classmates had told me about this park. There's some kind of weird team called Dorami Team around here. I thought maybe I should get away before they find me. But when I looked over...
Hey, what the hell are you looking at?
Oh shit! We locked eyes. The few that noticed started talking near me with their cup noodles in hand. I smelled it, and I was salivating. You look like you want something.
Your clothes are all beat up and you're super skinny. You want some bread?
Hey, leave him alone, Miori. You know what they say about feeding stray dogs.
Shut the hell up.
When did you start listening to what they had to say? Here, you can have this. If you want it, you can eat.
The bread she tossed at me wasn't expired or even opened. It was very clean. Are you sure?
I won't say it again. Eat up.
Look at him chowing down! Miori, look! Now he's into you because he thinks you'll feed him. I'm not gonna save you if he follows you around.
I didn't expect him to go this crazy for it. Are you seriously starving?
Sorry. I ate it without saying thank you. I don't have any money.
Don't worry about it. Anyway, I have a lot of good food at my house. If you're hungry, you should come by.
What's she gonna do? Ask me for money after I eat? Just as I had that thought, Miori, the delinquent, grabbed my hand and pulled me up without a care in the world. It's okay. I don't want to bother someone that I don't even know.
Shut up! Are you hungry or not?
I'm hungry.
Then eat and then talk. People can't think straight when they're hungry. I'm heading out for tonight.
I was taken into a giant house. This must be what people call a mansion. But it was quiet, and there wasn't a single soul in sight.
Come on, eat. I warmed up everything I think you could eat from the fridge.
Are you sure I can eat all this?
The chef cooks a lot, but I can't eat it all on my own. I basically just give them out to the guys at the park if they're about to rot, so it's not a problem if you eat it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I ate everything on the table as fast as I could. It was delicious. I couldn't stop crying after eating for the first time in years. After I ate everything and came back to my senses, I realized that I hadn't even introduced myself. I told her my name and why this happened. She nodded at me as if she understood, while she sipped her coffee.
I see. Then we're similar, you and I.
Huh?
My parents also died from an accident 2 years ago. I've been living alone since.
Oh.
Don't be all emotional on me. The guys that my parents took care of were worried about me, so they delivered me food and take care of me. So I'm not sad or struggling.
She's apparently in college and goes to school during the day. At night, she sometimes hangs out with those delinquents at the park.
You know how this house is a little scary when you're alone at night? And I'm a night owl, so when I'm at the park talking about nothing with those idiots, I have a lot of fun.
I see. We're the same, but completely different. I'm jealous. I wish I could have lived a nicer life to make sure my parents would be happy from heaven.
Oh, about that. You need to call the police.
Huh?
They're not feeding you, and I'm sure you didn't put that bruise on your neck on your own, right? It's abuse. CPS, the police, whatever. You need to talk. You don't need to be with those piece of shit foster parents.
She called someone after she told me that. In about 30 minutes, a really good-looking guy in sunglasses showed up. His name was Kurokawa, and apparently he was taken care of by Miori's parents, so he's been taking care of her until now.
Hey, sorry for calling you up so late.
It's okay. It's for the missus.
Stop calling me Mrs. Anyway, did you hear about what I said on the phone?
Of course. I'll take Mr. Manabe to the resources he needs.
Thanks. So yeah, you just rest up here for tomorrow. You don't have anywhere to be, right?
But
Shut up. Just accept my kindness with grace, dummy.
thank you. The next day, I was taken by Mr. Kurokawa to the police station and the CPS. The bruises that were on my body, the unhealthy BMI I was at, it was all documented and taken seriously. They started moving things to make sure my problems would be taken care of. Afterwards, the two were arrested. According to the worker who went to talk to my uncle, he said,
I'm a good citizen taking on foster kids!
It's our choice how we raise our kids.
and grabbed the worker, injuring him. The police showed up and arrested them. They were charged on the spot. It always said things like,
I have connections with higher-ups in the police departments, so I can make things disappear.
or,
If you call the cops, we're going to make sure you pay for it.
and I believed it. But that was clearly not the case. Mr. Kurokawa told me, but I was basically brainwashed. I went back to a facility after that. I could eat 3 meals a day and didn't have to worry about getting hit. No one would bother me. I had a new appreciation for peaceful times. After I turned 18, I left the facility and started working at a restaurant that Miss Miori introduced me to. This is that chef that cooked the meal that Miss Miori showed me that night. Ah, I can't turn down Mrs. Miori. You better work hard, bud. Yes, sir. I'll do anything. Thank you.
Stop calling me Mrs. Minato, the chef has a mouth on him, but he's a great guy, so you study hard.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. You've taken such great care of me.
Don't worry about it. Anyway, once you can cook for me, make sure you cook something good for me. You hear?
Of course. I'll cook great food every day. Just hang on. Whoa, you proposing there? No!
No? I'd be okay with a proposal.
What? Miss Miori?
I'm joking. Look at you blushing.
Oh, my uncle and aunt that were arrested? After they got out of prison, the business they had didn't work out anymore, so they had to sell their house and move. The rumors of their abuse had spread, and the relatives had cut ties with them. A distant auntie had mailed me to let me know. She had warned me of revenge, but I moved out of the facility to an apartment that Miss Miori owns, so I think I'll be alright. It's got a lot of security, and Mr. Kurokawa lives in the upper floors. This is how I completely cut ties with those two. This is where I restart my real life. I need to work hard to become a chef who's capable enough to repay Miss Miori and Mr. Kurokawa. Dad, Mom, please watch me. I'm going to be a great enough man to be able to ask out Miss Miori.
I'm Tatsuya Kataoka, 40 years old. I'm the president of a local factory after taking over my father's business. I'm proud of making good products, but I'm not a good salesman. Sales have plummeted due to the recession and the bankruptcy of some of my clients.
Honey, we're barely getting by this month. Can you work something out?
I'm sorry. Things just aren't going well.
How about you go pitch to some restaurants? There's a bunch of restaurants opening right in front of the station.
I make silverware. Knives, forks, plates, and teapots are my main products. I have only sold to retailers and department stores, but not to restaurants. If we could get chain stores to carry our products, it might lead to an increase in sales at once. I went to new restaurants in front of the station to do some business, but everywhere I went the response was bleak, claiming it was too expensive. However, the manager of one of the stores said, "Oh, wait, see that restaurant just around the corner? I heard it's a very high-end place that chooses its customers. Wouldn't silverware look great in a place like that?" "Thank you, I'll take a visit." The restaurant I was told about was magnificent from the entrance and clearly had the look of a high-end restaurant. I was overwhelmed just by stepping inside. "I'm sorry, we're not open yet." "Oh, I'm not a customer. My name is Kataoka. We manufacture and sell silver tableware, and I was wondering if you can handle our tableware at your store."
Our manager is not in right now. Please come in tomorrow." "Oh, why don't you dine here once beforehand? It would be better to check if your products are appropriate for our restaurant."
"Oh, yes, that's right. I apologize for not having visited your restaurant before."
No. We are looking forward to seeing you again."
He was right. It was only natural for him to ask me to come back and try the food. I went home and told my wife about it and she agreed, so I decided to make a reservation and bring the products tomorrow. But the next day, my father-in-law got sick and my wife decided to go back to her parents' house. The reserved time was 20. If we had a business meeting, we would be home after 22. I couldn't leave my daughter home alone and decided to take her with me. I thought it would be a good idea to take the two of us since I reserved the table seat. "Excuse me, I made a reservation under Kataoka. I'm here today to dine and have a meeting with the manager." When I showed the sample of the product at the reception desk, the staff's face, which had been smiling up to that point, became tense.
"I'm sorry. We looked into it with the business card you gave us yesterday, but I'm not sure if we could do business with you, Kataoka-san. The manager remains adverse to meeting with you."
"What? No. If you can at least take a look at the products."
"We value our dignity above all else. I'm sorry, but we can't have inferior products made by an unknown factory in town. I should have told you when you made your reservation, but I apologize for failing to inform the reservation staff."
They're not used to the tableware that Daddy made?
Turned away at the door, I stood there speechless in front of my anxious daughter and the staff.
If you are not going to dine, could you kindly make your way out?
He said in annoyance. I felt like leaving because of the pity, but I wanted to let my daughter eat at the very least since she was excited for this day. Then at least let her.
Wait. That staff is right. This is no place for someone like you.
I heard a voice from behind the staff.
Oh, Elisa-chan! Dad, she's a girl from the class next door.
Oh my, Elisa, I'm sorry for making a scene. These people will be leaving momentarily.
Come on, let's get out of here.
What? The girl called Elisa pulls me and my daughter out the store by hand. The staff had a displeased look on his face and said, "If we will meet again." But behind those words it was obvious he meant, "Never come back." It made me want to jump at him, but I did my best to restrain myself. The girl who appeared in front of us with no concern for me went outside and started talking with a sharp look.
You're Mommy from the other class, right? Is this your father? Yeah? You were showing some beautiful tableware earlier at the reception desk. Is that the same silverware you have on your school bag? Are they both made by your father? Yeah, it is. Dad made both of them. Oh, I knew it. I couldn't find the same design anywhere, and I was wondering if it was one of a kind. I would love to have some of your wonderful silverware. Could you do me a favor?
This girl was in love with the pieces I made.
I don't want to stand around and talk, so why don't we go to my favorite restaurant?
She invited us and we got into the car as she prompted. The luxury car parked in front of us seemed to belong to her family. My daughter quietly told me, Elisa's a transfer student who just came back from Germany and her family is very rich. The restaurant we arrived at was a small but elegant French restaurant with a relaxed atmosphere. According to what she told me in the car, she was being forced to accompany her father to the previous restaurant for work and was looking for a way to leave as the food tasted terrible.
Silverware made by Mommy's father is not appropriate for a restaurant like that.
Apparently, when she said earlier that it's no place for you, she meant that my tableware was of higher class. I felt bad for almost snapping at her. When we started eating at the restaurant she took us to, it only took me one bite to be stunned. My daughter's eyes sparkled up as well.
Delicious! This is amazing! I've never had food this good before! Right? The food here has a depth to it. It's a small restaurant, but the tableware and furniture are top-notch. This is the kind of place worthy of your father's silverware. Don't you think so, Chef?
The chef came over with a warm expression on his face and asked me, "If you don't mind, could you show me your tableware?" Elisa was talking to the chef in the kitchen when she got out of her seat earlier. When I showed him the silverware I had brought in a hurry, the chef picked them up and looked at them carefully with a huh. Oh no. What if he tells me it's an inferior product made by a guy from an unknown factory in town? The staff's words from earlier flickered in my mind, and I broke out in a cold sweat. But what came back were words I didn't expect.
I have never seen such exquisite and beautiful silversmithing. We would love to use it in our restaurant.
Huh?
We were actually considering a renewal for our restaurant. We would like to have new silverware with our original markings on it if possible.
Absolutely, we could do that. While my daughter and Elisa were enjoying their meal, the conversation progressed, and by the time they had finished their dessert, the business meeting was completed. I started bringing samples and had meetings for their design ideas. I was busy all of a sudden. Thanks to the chef's help, the number of clients increased and the sales doubled the following month. My wife was in tears of joy. The good things didn't stop there. When Elisa said, "I want you to make me a keychain just like Mommy's," I gave her a silver keychain and some accessories as a token of my appreciation, and the word spread among the kids. There was a wave of orders for miniature silverwork and accessories for kids and mothers. Some parents who were in the business even asked us to make full orders since they wanted to carry it in their stores. Thank you, Elisa. It's all because of you. I don't know how I could thank you enough.
I just called it for what it is. The product speaks for itself, which is why I think everyone wants your beautiful creations.
The way she blushed shyly while saying that was very childish and adorable.
I'm looking forward to seeing more of your new work, so please let me know.
Yeah, of course. Elisa looked like a goddess smiling with the hair ornament I made her. Oh yeah, and as a side note, that restaurant that made fun of me for being a no-name township factory got a bad reputation as an awful restaurant that looks down on their customers and went out of business within a year or so. Apparently the food was nothing special in contrast to the interior. That's what happens when you have that attitude in front of other customers. I'm going to take good care of my clients and continue to work diligently. My daughter was also happy and told me she made a lot of new friends since then. I'll do my best to keep my daughter smile.
My name is Kaede Toyama. I live alone in a shabby apartment while working as a contract worker. The reason why I live in this shabby apartment in the first place was because of my mother, who was my only living parent, passed away a few years ago. My mother, who had left a terrible family environment on her own, had nobody to rely on except her husband. Her funeral was held quietly with my mother's friend and myself. I moved out of the house where I lived with my mother and moved to this apartment because I was worried about my income. Forever alone. After crying and crying, the sadness eased for a moment, but the loneliness did not disappear. Crying isn't going to help anything. I decided to get myself together and work hard with the goal of becoming a full-time employee. However,
I'm sorry, but we can't renew your contract.
suddenly, the company I was working for announced that they were going to let me go.
It's a shame to let a good employee like you go, but we're in the middle of a recession.
I was even more depressed because they were going to offer me a permanent position soon. But it didn't end there. The misfortunes continued to follow. What am I going to do now? I have to find a job first. As I trudged back to my apartment pondering this. What? To my surprise, there was nothing left where my apartment used to be. There were no traces left of the apartment, and char was piled up with smoke billowing out of it. It looks like arson. This apartment was old, so everyone was worried about what would happen if it caught fire. One of the neighbors told me that in a sympathetic tone, but I couldn't think of anything to say. No way! What am I supposed to do now? I lost my job, my house, everything. I don't remember much after that. With nowhere to go, I found myself in my hometown where I had spent my childhood. My mother's gone. I lost my job and my home, but maybe I can start over here. The cost of living is low in the countryside, and although we haven't been in touch, my father's sister, who was very dear to me when I was little, must still live here. Houses in the countryside are big. I'll ask her to let me stay there for a while I think about the future. As I was walking around thinking about that, I saw a figure at the far end of the wide riverbed. As I approached closer, wondering what they were doing in a place like that, it was a boy in a school uniform. The uniform he was wearing was tattered, but they were definitely from a junior high school nearby. I was worried, and as I looked around, the student looked back at me. What are you doing?
Nothing.
It's already dark. You should go home.
I can't go home.
I had plenty of time, so I decided to sit beside him and listen to his story. The boy began telling me what had happened. His parents divorced several years ago, and his mother took him in to live with her and her second marriage partner, but the mother passed away due to illness. He had no choice but to rely on his father-in-law, but not only did his stepfather neglect him, he also spent all of the money from child support on alcohol. He even started to get verbally abusive and violent. He couldn't take it anymore and ran away from home.
I was going to go to my real father's place, but it's so far, and I have to take a train to get there. But I think he even took my wallet. It's getting dark, and I don't know what to do.
It happened unconsciously, but I think I saw myself in him. Here, use this. I want him to be happy because he shares the same pain as me.
What?
With that one thought in mind, I gave him a wallet with all the cash I had on me. It may not be much, but I think you'll at least be able to take a bullet train or something.
But...
Don't worry about me. I have a credit card. You have no idea how much it costs to get to your father's house, do you?
But... I feel bad.
It's okay. Just take it. Hurry! The more trouble you'll get until later it gets. I stood up, thinking the boy would have had a hard time walking away if I stayed there. Well, I guess we'll never see each other again.
I'll pay you back, for sure!
The boy stood up as if determined and disappeared into the town, bowing his head repeatedly. I did a good thing. Good things will surely happen after doing something good. Everything will be fine as long as I get to my aunt's house. With that thought in mind, I reached my aunt's house relying on memory. But I was naive. I found nothing but a vacant lot where my aunt's house used to be. I wandered around the area, hoping I was mistaken, but the area around my aunt's house was just as it was then, with its distinctive signage and the winding streets we used to play on. So there was no way I could have been mistaken. No matter how many times I checked, that empty lot was where my aunt's house used to be. Now, I've really lost everything. It seems like when a person truly reaches their limit, they can't help but laugh. Now I really don't know what to do. I made it back to town in a daze. Oh, that building, it's still there. What caught my eye was the building that housed the first fast food restaurant I worked part-time for. As I got closer, I found the door leading to the rooftop left unlocked. On the rooftop, we would eat lunch together secretly during our breaks, and on firework festivals, we would gather there to watch. Those days were so much fun. I naturally went up the stairs to the rooftop. It's even more desolate than it was back then, but little has changed. The wind feels so nice. I forgot everything and gazed at the barren street in front of the station. Then suddenly,
Wait a minute!
startled by the sudden loud voice, I turned around in a panic when a middle-aged man came running towards me.
You! What are you doing?
What?
Not so fast! And at my building, too!
My building? The man pulled me by the arm and dragged me to the middle of the rooftop.
I saw you climbing the stairs, so I followed you thinking the worst. And I'm glad I did.
I'm sorry, I was just looking at the town though?
What?
I was embarrassed, but I knew I had no choice but to explain. I told him everything that had happened.
Really?
Yes.
I don't think it would be a stretch to jump off under those circumstances, but
Oh, no. Well, I did think it was a painful situation, but I'm determined to live for my mother. When I involuntarily laughed, the man bowed deeply.
I apologize. I made a terrible mistake.
It's okay.
Anyway, you're very strong.
You think so?
Would you be interested in working for my company?
What? I couldn't believe my ears at the sudden offer. The man's name was Nobuhiko Hatanaka, and he was the president of a construction company in Tokyo. This building was his company's building.
This is my hometown, too. I come back here every once in a while to relax. I started my company in one of the rooms of this building, although the company is now headquartered in Tokyo.
I see.
My company is in need of a new employee because one of our female employees just left for maternity leave. You seem like you have guts, so how about it?
What? Are you sure?
Well, this must be some kind of fate, too.
There was no reason for me to refuse the offer that seemed too good to be true. After that, the president not only offered me a job, but also a company dormitory.
I apologize. It's not the nicest place, but
He said that, but it was much nicer and way more spacious than my old apartment. Thank you so much! I'm going to do my best for this person. That's what I decided. Fortunately, I was placed in a position where I could use my experience from my last job and work relentlessly. Working overtime and getting yelled at by an unpleasant boss set me back at times, but the work itself was rewarding, and above all, I was able to work hard to repay the president of the company. Then, in the blink of an eye, more than a decade passed. Before I knew it, I was in a decent position within the company. I graduated from the company dormitory, and now I live in an apartment in Tokyo, albeit a small one. Although my life was difficult at first, thanks to President Hatanaka, everything had been smooth sailing for the past decade or so. But one day, the president is stepping down? The president suddenly collapsed at home, and it was difficult for him to continue his work. And to make matters worse, the current executive manager was likely to succeed him. The manager was certainly good at his job, but he was a man of intense power harassment and the subject of endless shady rumors behind the scenes. I wasn't a big fan of him either. I can't work hard for that man. On the day the announcement came out that the executive manager would be the next president, I submitted my resignation half-heartedly. I had been unemployed for the first time in over a decade. What was different from those days was that I lived in a beautiful apartment. I also had enough savings. And yet, I was not able to clear the fog in my mind because of the president. I wonder if I can somehow repay him. I didn't have the energy to look for a new job, and I was living a shell of a life doing freelance work. After a year, such days passed. Yes? I looked at the screen and saw a young man I had never seen before standing there.
Are you Kaide Toyama?
Yes.
Thank God! I finally got to meet you! I'm sorry to interrupt.
Who are you?
Do you remember this?
The young man took out an old wallet. Oh, that's... I remember now. It was the wallet I gave to a boy by the river a long time ago. I opened the door.
I always wanted to repay you someday. Now that I'm finally on my own, I looked for you to return the money you gave me. The only clue I had was this wallet, so I hired a detective to find you.
I see.
I'm sorry to have surprised you, but I had no idea that you were working for my father's company.
What? Your father's company? The junior high school student at that time was the son of President Hatanaka. I went to a nearby coffee shop to talk further with the boy from that day who introduced himself as Mamoru Hatanaka. That day, the boy used the money in my wallet to visit his father's address, which his mother had told him about. Although he couldn't see him right away, he was finally able to see him with the help of his relatives.
My father welcomed me warmly. From that point on, I've been following my father's back, training abroad up until recently to follow in his footsteps. After I learned that you were working for my father's company, I asked him about you before we met. My father praised you as a very good employee. He also said he himself and the workplace both got brighter because of you.
No. Tears naturally welled up in my eyes at these words. No matter how hard it gets, there's always someone watching over. I felt that all those hard days since I lost my mother had paid off.
So please, come back to the company and lend us your strength again.
What? But the current president.
Oh, speaking of him, the former executive manager who became president a year ago was officially dismissed and removed from his position after power harassment and embezzlement came to light. It was decided that I would take over the company ahead of schedule.
Really?
I'm still a work in progress, so I'll need the help of many people. And you're one of them.
Me?
That's correct. What do you think? Will you please come back?
What a strange coincidence. I felt like I was being guided by some invisible force. If it's okay.
We want more people like you in our company. People who have compassion for others.
The young man's smile was just like the president's, full of kindness. And so I returned to President Hatanaka's company once again. All the employees who had worked with me gave me a warm welcome. The president survived and is supporting this company behind the scenes as chairman. I look forward to working with you again. I'm more committed to my work than ever before. Someone's watching over me. That's what I believe.
My name is Yuma Ogura. I love manga and anime. I'm what you'd call an otaku. In high school, I figured I'd join the anime or manga clique. But unfortunately, the high school I went to didn't have either. So somehow, I was in a really popular social group. It all started on the first day of high school, when the good-looking kid in front of me started talking to me. I don't want to brag, but I got lucky with genetics. I'm pretty tall, I got a decent face. Oh, and my older brother helped me with fashion too, so people didn't think I was an otaku. I think he might have thought I was someone rowdy. I didn't have any reason to turn him down, so I bought into the conversation and ate lunch with him. I'd go to karaoke and bowling when they invited me on the weekends. Before I knew it, I was part of the popular clique. They all seemed pretty good, and they talked about anime or manga that were popular, so it was fun sometimes. I learned about the subjects that people in the popular groups talked about, things you'd never hear about in the otaku groups. It was pretty fun. One day, I said that I didn't get enough sleep because I was watching late-night anime, and someone looked at me like I was gross. But after that, I kinda just kept the fact that I'm an otaku to myself. My older brother is actually a popular person, so I kind of understood how to look like a popular kid. I enjoyed my high school years. Life went on, and I was accepted into my #1 university. I was about to graduate. The girl who was the cutest and got along with me the best, Emi Imai, had asked me out. We're going to different colleges, so I just wanted to tell you before.
I've always liked you. Please go out with me.
You're okay with a guy like me? I like you too! Let's go out! Afterwards, we continued dating and slowly started getting more friendly. We went to different universities, but we got on the same train, so we'd meet up on the way home or go on dates on the weekends. We had a good time. College life was good. Yuma! There's a new premium DVD box of Lilina! Oh my god! The limited edition one? Nice job!
We're gonna go watch it real quick. Wanna come with?
Hell yeah, I do! The one with the glasses was Naoki, and the other one was Tomoya. They're both pretty hardcore otakus. Because I met them, I was able to talk about manga and anime as much as I wanted. Emi didn't seem to care much about it at all, so I didn't tell her that I had otaku friends. I talked about otaku stuff in college, outside of school, when I was flirting with Emi. Life was fun, and I wanted to be in college forever.
You're going to take over the real estate business after you graduate, right?
Yeah.
Then maybe I need to learn some about real estate.
Why?
Huh? You're gonna make me say it?
I need to help you out once we're married.
Yeah, once I get rich, I'm going to propose, so you just wait.
Yeah, I'll be waiting.
Life was good. I almost doubted myself. But...
I want you to break up with me.
What? About a year after we started working, Emmy suddenly asked me to break up with her.
Remember when I went to your house before? You said you were in real estate, so I figured you'd live in a nicer house, but it was so small that I was disappointed.
What? That's why you're dumping me? My grandpa and I lived there forever. It's an old house. Either way, I was going to renovate it.
Your dad doesn't seem to have much oomph either. I wasn't sure if he was even really a CEO. The offices you showed me were also so small.
You're seriously trying to break up because of that?
I was asked out by a CEO's son. I'm gonna go out with him instead.
What? You mean the place you're working at?
Nope. Someone I met at a drinking party the other day. He's great looking and wears expensive brand suits and was super attractive. He's gonna be the next CEO for sure, so sorry.
She started laughing and saying that money is important for living. She did ask me out after I had mentioned my father owning a real estate company. She wanted my money all along. I felt so dumb. I kept contacting her, but she wouldn't read my messages, she wouldn't answer my phone calls. I didn't think that's who she was.
Hey, real girls are pretty tough, huh?
They're not all like that, though. I'll pay today. Drink up, guys.
Indeed. Let's let it blow by and enjoy tomorrow.
Thanks, Tomoya. Naoki. Thanks. My friends cheered me up, and I slowly got over it. Naoki especially started sending me anime and manga that he thought I'd like. And while I was watching it, two-dimensional girls are so nice. The world is full of new and great anime. About half a year passed before I was able to move past everything. Naoki, Tomoya, thanks guys. I was able to move forward thanks to you two. I've forgotten about Emmy. Now let's talk about Comic-Con. I'm glad you feel better. You know, I figured I'd invite you to come check out our business to get your mind off of things. But I guess you don't need it anymore. Business? You guys are seriously gonna do it?
We have annoying parents and siblings that keep telling us to get out of the house, so we decided to get an office.
I'll invest in you two! I had $5,000 saved up for our wedding funds. Let me invest in our dreams! Tomoya said that he didn't invite me for that, but I was able to get over it thanks to these two. I pushed them to let me help.
If you're going to say that much, then I'll be sure to work hard not to betray your trust.
Alright, I'll bring the money next time.
However, I can't accept the money for free. I'll have you have some shares of the company in exchange for your money.
Shares? That's perfect. If our business goes well, we can even give you some return. We can trust you, so let's make this a stock trade. I've never held any stock, so I was a little unsure about it, but it was the two of them. I could trust them. I gave them their money in return for some shares of their company. They weren't listed on the stock market yet, so it was an unlisted trade. There'd be no shift in the value of the stock. We weren't even sure if there'd be any return, so I didn't expect anything. I took it as a sign of friendship. But about a year later, they said that the business was going well and gave me some return. They continued giving me return consistently. Are you sure I can have this much? I haven't done anything for you. You're a shareholder, of course.
You helped us out. This is what you get.
I see. All right. Well, thanks. I was happy with just the return, but they eventually invited me to work with their sharehouse department.
We've completed the first sharehouse for otakus.
We're planning on expanding out more after this. We'd like to ask you for your real estate knowledge. Is that all right?
Yeah, if I can help, you know I will. At first, I worked at my father's real estate company while helping them out a little bit. But this otaku sharehouse actually started gaining traction. And eventually, I was asked to join their business full time. My father said it was fine, so I needed to go have a good time with my friends. This is how I was designated the manager of the sharehouse division. Because I worked with friends I got along with, work was fun, and Naoki's company was full of otakus. And I got along with a lot of them. Every day was fulfilling, and I loved going to work.
It was more like going to see my friends anyway. The share house was fun too. I planned rooms that would be like a heaven for otakus. I started really getting the hang of making sure the tenants would have a nice time, and it felt like I was working the job of my life. 1 year later, something happened that made me even more excited.
Mr. Yuma, I'd like you to be one of the board members of the company.
A board member? Apparently, if they were to ever be listed on the markets, they would need at least 3 board members. I was taken out as an excellent contributor to the sharehouse division. And after I was enlisted as a chief superintendent, I started receiving executive pay, which meant my salary was at least twice as high as the average pay for people my age.
So, you really did become an executive, huh?
Yeah, I feel like I just got lucky over and over though. I was at a wedding with a friend back in high school. I was talking to all of them when, of course, she showed up.
Executive director? Who?
Yuma. He's the executive director of a company that's really blowing up right now.
No way! Wait, hang on. Yuma, let's start over. I'm single right now anyway.
What? You said you were going to marry the CEO's son. What the hell are you smoking?
I broke up with him. He was lying. He was the son of some tiny dinky company. His company even went under and he's just working part-time jobs now. I'm actually in hot water because he took out a bunch of loans for money. Come on, let's get back together so you can help me.
I was seriously taken aback by how selfish and self-centered someone could be. Even all of my friends were aghast by her. Yeah, no. You could come back through the 7 floors of hell and I'd still say no. Don't ever show that ugly thing you call a face in front of me again. If you follow me around, I'm going to ask my corporate lawyers to sue you. Bye. However, even during the wedding, she kept bothering me, and everyone was so grossed out by how she was behaving. At the wedding, the story of how she was drowning in loans spread quickly, and no one went near her after that. Her social media was dipping fast, and she was panicking, saying, "Why is everyone avoiding me? Someone help me!" One of my high school friends showed me his phone. That's what happens when you're gold digging all day. You better work hard yourself and pay back the loans on your own. Afterwards, I married a woman who worked hard with me in the sharehouse division.
Mr. Yuma, congratulations on your marriage.
You two make sure to find your happiness. Be sure to hang out with us even after you're married.
Of course! We both like to thank you guys as well. You should definitely have friends with similar hobbies. I'm going to work hard to make sure the company is blooming with business.
My name is Masaki Narita. I'm a simple and dull guy, if I say so myself. In junior high and high school, I didn't have any friends who shared my interests, so I was a bit of a recluse. I didn't belong to any clubs at university because I had things I wanted to do at home, so I went home as soon as possible. Thanks to this, I don't have any close friends. I remember one of my seminar students calling me a dull guy. I was lucky enough to find a job and become a member of society.
Looks like we're assigned to the same department.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Fuji. I'm glad I didn't have to be a loner thanks to a good-natured colleague whose name was Rhea Fuji.
Oh, feel free to just call me Rhea.
Really? Then you can call me Mazaki too. We were getting along pretty well at the beginning, but within 2 weeks of being assigned to the field, we were on the wrong side of the fence. Or rather, Fuji snapped at me one way or another.
How lucky. Your instructor is a beauty.
Huh? Oh, Kitano-san, right? My instructor, Miyuki Kitano, was a beautiful and kind person. She was so beautiful that I was a bit nervous at first.
Don't worry, there's no need to be anxious. It's okay to take it at your own pace.
Thanks to her kindness, I was able to speak with her normally. On the other hand, Fuji's instructor Kasuga was scary and very strict. I saw him frequently warning Fuji about what he was saying and doing. Well, maybe I was lucky to have a kind female instructor. Huh?
Are you saying that on purpose because I got a tough senior?
No way.
Shut up! Don't call me by my name! Stop acting so familiar with me!
Fuji got angry one way or another like this, and after that, we stopped calling each other by our first names. Whenever I called out to him, he would glare at me, so I stopped talking to him. But Fuji comes to talk to me. He makes sarcastic remarks, and he forces his work onto me with some reason or another. To top it all off, he even started blaming me for his own mistakes.
Fuji, you're missing some documents. Where's the client consent form?
Huh? Excuse me? I asked Narita! But he said you don't need one, so I didn't get it either.
I never said that, Kasuga-san. I didn't tell him anything like that.
What are you talking about? I checked with you before I went to the client.
That's enough! Anyway, the consent form is essential. Now go and get them.
But I have to go in Manwa's office now! Narita, it's your fault, so why don't you go instead?
Why me?
Sorry, Narita. I have a client coming in as well. I'm sorry, but can you go instead?
Kasuga-san pleaded, so I had no choice but to go. And when I came back, it was just before clock-out time. I had to work overtime in the end. Kasuga-san and Kitano-san helped me out, so I didn't have to work so late. But, I really wanted to go home and do something today. Fuji kept harassing me time and time again after that. But I'm not stupid. I gathered evidence and talked to my senior about it. Kitano-san gave Fuji a direct warning and also talked to Kazugu-san about it.
Really? I'm really sorry. I didn't notice. I'll give Fuji a proper warning.
Kitano-san gave Fuji a direct warning and also talked to Kazugu-san about it. Fuji may have learned his lesson about being scolded so harshly by the two, and after that, he stopped harassing me blatantly. Just by not being involved with Fuji, my work progressed at a stroke. I'm glad I consulted with them. However, Fuji's persistence was beyond my imagination, and now he started harassing me outside of the office. He even gets involved with me at lunchtime in the eating area.
Hey, Narita? Because of you, Kasuga-san has become even stricter than before, making things super difficult for me. Take responsibility.
Isn't that your fault for doing so many stupid things?
You're the worst for talking to Kisano-san in the first place. You brought my stock down. I was going for Kitano-san.
Huh? There's no way she'd give someone like you the time of day.
What? What's that? A homemade lunch? Don't tell me your parents made it for you.
No, I made it myself. Cooking is my hobby.
What kind of sissy guy likes cooking? A gross guy like you wouldn't match up with Kitano-san.
Say whatever you want. By the way, I'm still recording.
Hey!
If you persist, I'll talk to the seniors again. After saying that, Fuji left with a grumble. If you've got time for me, why don't you go and get one of those contracts? A few days after that exchange, we were having a barbecue for our clients, and we were talking about who would be in charge of cooking.
Every year we have a newcomer take the lead.
Then let's entrust Narita to be the cooking leader.
What? Me?
You can cook enough to make your own lunch, right? Or did your mommy make that for you after all?
Seriously? Can't he say anything but sarcasm? Then I'll be the cooking leader. But it's too much for one person to cook for everyone, so I'd appreciate it if someone could help me from the morning of the day of the event.
Of course I'll help you. I'm not a very good cook, but I can do the basics.
What? Kitano-san? Okay, me too then. I'm in on the cooking.
Hey Fuji, you're the new guy, so you're in from the start.
Understood. Thank you.
And so, I was appointed cooking leader. To be honest, it was my first time cooking for a large group, so I was a little nervous. But I started looking forward to the event as I looked up recipes and made prototypes. And then, the day of the barbecue arrived. I've seasoned the meat and fish, cut up all the vegetables, and packed them in Tupperware. So I would like you to do the final touches.
Huh? All you have to do is grill at a barbecue. Stop being so dramatic.
What's in the cooler bag over here?
It's salad. I made my own dressing.
Amazing! So authentic! I've never been much of a barbecue person, but I think I could have fun with this.
Kitano-san is so cute when she's excited. Fuji, on the other hand?
Stop being so cocky. You're exaggerating. Huh?
But I didn't care, and proceeded with the preparations. Grilled marinade that took many prototypes, foil-baked fish with lots of vegetables and cheese, Pizzas made from dough and colorful aqua pasta were laid out on the table. People who gathered, not only business partners, but also people in the company exclaimed, "Whoa!" and cheered with delightful smiles on their faces.
The meat tastes so good! What did you season this with?
Soy sauce, sugar, garlic, sesame oil, and a dash of chili powder.
This pizza is so delicious! Where do they sell this dough?
Oh, that's the dough I made.
What? You made this by hand? That's amazing! It tastes like something from a restaurant.
Thank you. I put a little garlic in the dough so it has a nice flavor.
You are a culinary genius, Narita. If a boy like you were my son, I bet the dinner table would be fun every day.
Even people who rarely touch the food at drinking parties were eager to help themselves to the food today, which made me really happy. The president of the client company, who was famous for being a hard man, was silent as usual, but chewed at the food with a delicious smile.
Narita, I'm glad it was such a success.
Yes. It's thanks to Kitano-san's help.
I didn't do anything.
It was Kitano-san who arranged the dishes colorfully and beautifully. I couldn't have done it like this.
Kitano-senpai? I made it too.
What are you talking about? All you did was complain and do nothing. You didn't even serve the fish because you didn't want to touch it.
Oh no!
You should be proud of what your peers have done. Men who complain are so weak and pathetic.
I couldn't help but smile when I saw Fuji's scornful face. This was enough for me, but the pleasant surprise came with a bang at the end. The senior manager of the company I do business with loved the mini tarts I made for dessert.
I don't have an eye for sweets. I'd like to try them again, so could you bring some over next time? Oh, that would be great! Narita, I'd appreciate it if you could make it when it's convenient for you.
Yes, I'll be sure to bring some with me when I visit. This company is actually one of our major clients, and with the retirement of the previous person in charge, it was almost time to choose a replacement. I'm so lucky to be selected to be in charge of such a major client at this timing. Fuji was gritting his teeth with a ridiculous look on his face. But how should I care? And the barbecue ended up being a huge success. Not only that, but after the barbecue, Kitano-san who fell for my cooking.
I want to know the recipe. If you don't mind, can I watch you make it?
The distance between us closed in rapidly. Sometimes I would invite Kitano-san to my house, and we would act as if it was a cooking class. My parents saying, "Is that your girlfriend?" and "Is Mizaki finally getting married?" which was a bit troublesome. Oh yeah, Fuji losing a big client to me. Also got jealous that I was getting along well with Kitano-san and started harassing me again. After I gathered enough evidence, I talked to my seniors about it. They said, "This is too much. This is getting out of our control." So they brought it over to the boss.
Why me?
Fuji was eventually transferred to another department the following month. There were 5 scary bureaucrats in the department, and it seems that someone is always picking on him every day.
I can't do this anymore! I can't take it anymore! Tell the senior staff to let me back in there! I won't harass you anymore! Please, Misaki, for the love of your colleague! Do something!
I received such a lamenting internal email and quickly forwarded it to my seniors and bosses. I don't know what happened to Fuji after that, but since he wasn't at the colleague get-together, he might have quit. I'm going to keep working hard and not let my guard down so I don't end up like that.
By the way, isn't it your birthday next month?
Yes, that's right.
Can I make a birthday cake and give it to you as a present?
What? Oh no, are you sure?
It's my way of saying thank you for all the help you've given me. Besides, I want you to see how my cooking skills have improved.
Well, of course, a cake made by you is going to be delicious. Whoa, I'm so happy.
Come on, don't set the bar too high, but I'll do my best, so look forward to it.
Yes. My senior confessing her feelings to me with a heart-shaped cake, which almost made me pass out from sheer happiness, is something I couldn't have imagined then. How lucky am I? I hope I haven't used up all the luck in my life. May my life be smooth sailing from here on out.
My name is Akinori Aida. I work as a hotelier at a certain luxury hotel in Tokyo. However, it's already been decided that the hotel I work for will be going out of business. Over the past few years, the number of hotels has increased rapidly, especially in Tokyo and Osaka. The area around our hotel was no exception, as affordable business hotels were being built one after another, and customers kept moving to them. If this place goes under, where should I work next? The place is scheduled to close in about half a year's time. As I was sitting at the front desk at night with no customers coming in, thinking about my uncertain future, across the counter from beneath, I heard a soft voice. I walked out from the counter and looked below and saw a girl looking at me uneasily. She was wearing a pink dress with some mud on it and dirty athletic shoes. I crouched down beside the girl to meet her eyes. What's wrong?
Is my dad here?
Looks like she was in trouble. Is your dad planning on staying here today?
I don't know. I heard he works at a hotel around here, so...
Maybe she's lost. Or by the looks of it, did she come all the way from home to visit? She didn't seem ordinary in any case. What's your dad's name?
Naya Takagi.
Alright, I'll check it out. I searched to see if I could find anybody that might resemble him, but couldn't find anything. I've worked at this hotel for a long time, and there's no one named Takagi among our employees. I checked. There doesn't seem to be anyone here by that name.
I see.
I guess I'll have to call the police. Just when I was thinking that, the girl held out a 500 yen coin clutched in her trembling hands in front of me and said,
I'd like you to let me stay here with this.
500 yen is a...
Please, it's already dark outside. I'll leave in the morning.
It was already past 8 o'clock p.m. and completely dark outside. It was also raining and very cold today. Let's go to the police station and have your dad or mom pick you up first.
No! If I go to the police station, they'll get mad at me.
As the girl started to shed tears, I knew this was no ordinary matter, so I thought about it for a moment. Okay, just give me a second then. I spoke to the manager through the line and explained the situation, to which I got his approval. I'll make you a special deal, just for today.
Really? Thank you!
Yeah, it's just between you and me. You can put the money away. We'll collect it tomorrow.
Okay.
What a well-behaved girl. Accompanied by a female staff member, I led her to an empty room. After asking the female staff member to wash the girl's muddy clothes and change her into hotel pajamas, I decided to talk to the girl for a little while. What's your name?
Shizuka.
Shizuka, huh? Hey, do you like taking baths?
Why?
I know somebody named Shizuka, and she likes baths. Do you take a bath 3 times a day by any chance?
No? You're funny.
Shizuka finally smiled and started speaking about her father.
You know, my dad's really cool. He's taller than all my friends' dads. And I like it when he carries me on his shoulders.
I see. That's awesome. I'm a short guy myself, so I envy that.
And my dad is really good at cooking hamburger steaks. I want to eat it again.
Don't worry. I'm sure you'll see your mom and dad again soon. You must be tired today, aren't you? Have a good night's sleep.
But I hope they won't get mad at me.
Don't worry. I'll apologize to them with you.
Thanks.
Shizuka seemed anxious, but fell asleep as soon as she got to bed. I walked out of my room and called my childhood friend. Oh, hello, Tatsuro? My childhood friend's name is Tatsuro, and he's a police officer. I explained everything that had just happened. Is there a report of a lost child over there that looks like her?
I'm on it. I'll check it out right away and get over there as soon as I can.
I'm counting on you. She was acting a little strange, saying things like not wanting to go to the police station, so we're keeping her in the hotel room.
Thanks.
Buy me a drink next time.
Aye. See you later.
Tatsuro checked, and sure enough, a lost child report for Shizuka had been submitted to the police by her parents. Tatsuro came to check on Shizuka once, then contacted her parents and arranged for them to pick her up at the hotel. The next morning, Shizuka's parents came to pick her up.
I'm very sorry for the trouble we've caused you.
The father bowing beside his wife was not as tall as I had imagined. In fact, he was a little shorter than me.
Shizuka! We were worried about you!
Father, I'm sorry.
I thought she would be so happy to be hugged by her father, who had been missing her so much. But Shizuka's expression was stiff. And yesterday she was calling him Dad, but now it's Father. It felt somewhat strange, but I thought I was overthinking. And as I stood there watching from the side, Shizuka hugged me at my feet.
Oh, big brother, thank you for your help. See you.
Shizuka slowly shook her palm and bent her thumb inward, slowly folding her other 4 fingers as well, to form a fist. Come on, let's go home. What are you doing? I want to go to work early today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The moment the father turned his back to me, I yelled, "Excuse me!" to stop him. We're actually running a campaign to give our customers discount coupons. It'll be a great opportunity, so please, come with your family next time. Okay. After they left, Tatsuro said, "This hotel's going out of business soon, so there won't be an opportunity to use the coupon." Tatsuro, I need to talk to you. What's the matter? I invited Tatsuro to the office, at Shizuka's house. Shizuka, why did you run away from home?
Because
Dad was worried about you, you know.
I'm sorry.
So troublesome. Such a handful!
Come on, Masato, don't get so angry. Even that girl has her uses, right? Listen, Shizuka, you're just a tool to get child benefits. Otherwise, I wouldn't take custody of you.
Yes.
Oh, and Mai? I was stopped on my way out at the hotel earlier. He said he'd give us a coupon. That hotel must be in desperate need of customers.
Really? Let's go. Just the 2 of us.
My dad. I miss him.
Huh? What is with this girl? Was that a snide remark? This house is enough for you. Don't get smart with me.
I'm sorry.
Yes? You. Hello. I brought you a coupon to the police station. What? Let's go back a few hours. Tatsuro, I need to talk to you about something. I told Tatsuro about the sign Shizuka showed me earlier, about her unusually dirty clothes, and about the bruise that was visible from the hem of her dress. That sign. That's the hand sign used by people who have been violated! So it was. I saw that hand sign on TV somewhere before, but Shizuka's movements were faltering, so I wasn't sure. And I couldn't say anything definitive about it. No, that's fine. Also, Shizuka and I talked about her father yesterday, and the image of her father that I heard at the time and the one that appeared were different. Seems like there's something going on. Anyway, let's go talk to them. Tatsuro and I flew to the address I just got from the father. It's here, Tatsuro muttered to himself, and I looked up at the 2-story house to see what we should do from here.
This house is enough for you. Don't get smart with me.
Dad! Akinori, can you ring the door? If I go in there dressed as a cop, they might be alarmed and not answer. Alright, but stay by my side. I'm not a fan of violence. Of course! I made eye contact with Tatsuro and rang the doorbell. Moments later, the father showed up. Yes? You. Hello. I brought you a coupon. To the police station. What?
Brother, help!
Shizuka jumped on me through the gap and wept in tears.
I'm so sick of it. It hurts and I'm alone at night and I'm scared. I miss my dad. I miss him so much.
What are you talking about? I'm your father!
Please stop!
I protected Shizuka from the man as he tried to grab her by the hair. Strangers like you need to stay out of it!
Yeah, what the hell is going on? Shizuka, come here.
You know what's gonna happen if you don't get your act together? The man raised his fist and tried to hit me, but... Alright, you're caught red-handed. Shall I hear your story? Tatsuro grabbed the man's fist and restrained him. What?
Elise?
That was way too close. My bad. I wanted to record her testimony. Come on, we can't ignore your child's testimony. Please, come with us to the station. The 2 were then seized by the accompanying police officer and taken to the nearest police station. According to what I heard later, Shizuka was Mai's daughter and Masato was not her biological father. After divorcing her ex-husband, Mai took custody of Shizuka for child benefits and lived her life as she pleased with her new husband, Masato, who didn't care about Shizuka. Shizuka could no longer endure such a life, so she ran out of the house yesterday clutching a 500 yen coin in search of her biological father. What happened to Mai and Masato after that? After various police interrogations and on-site inspections, it was determined that they were malicious child abusers, and they were sentenced to 5 years in prison. Shizuka got back with her biological father, Naoya-san, and they now live happily together. And then, about a year later, our hotel that was on the verge of going out of business was open for business again. The reason lies with Shizuka's father, Naoya-san. What? Our hotel became a part of the Manwa Hotel Group? I couldn't believe my ears when the manager said that. Mai's father, Naoya-san, was the heir to the excellent hotel group, Manwa Hotel. I can't let such a hospitable hotel that saved my own daughter's life go out of business. So not only was the hotel acquired by Naoya-san's hotel group, which was originally looking for a buyer, but was saved from going out of business and is still thriving today.
Brother!
Hello. Shizuka and Naoya-san came to stay with us today. Please, have a relaxing time.
Hey, brother, let's chat in the room again.
Hey, Shizuka! After work, okay? A lot happened, but I got to see Shizuka smile, so I guess that settles it. We hoteliers are most energized by the smiles of our guest. Alright, let's go for another day.